So isn't there something we have to do to make sure we can sync these up?
All right, Chad, what's Braille?
What's Braille? It is.
Hey, Charlie, what's Braille?
It's a way for blind people to be able to read what's on something.
Why
yeah.
did you act so stupid just like
No,
5 minutes ago?
he Googled it, dude. Come on.
come on.
Obviously he Googled it.
I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction, Evan.
That reminds me
Evan,
of
how do you spell diesel?
my Achilles heel.
What's the backstory of that again? Something about like a spelling bee.
I was in an 8th grade spelling bee, and it was just me and the top girl, dude. All I had to do was spell diesel right, and I spelled it DEI instead of DIE.
I spelled job wrong in the 3rd grade spelling bee. I said JOBE. I said JOB, and everybody was like, and then I was like, E. and I literally cried. Like, as I was saying it, I cried.
E.
You're like JOB. That is E. Ooh.
They're like, that is E.
Yowzers.
All right. So, I guess this is episode 1, season
2.
And we have video. And we have a new host that's going to be pretty permanent,
Yeah.
right?
Hope so.
Did we ever ask?
He asked,
yeah,
but
okay.
in the Chad way, that's like not asking the question.
It's not like
Kind of like
hey,
where like it's like I want to buy your mattress, but at the same time I didn't commit.
But then at the same time, you're like, don't worry, I undersold it to somebody else.
That was after you.
or it's
That was
like,
after
yeah,
the fact.
I'll buy your thermostat.
Screenshots here.
Just waiting for me to come put it on.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Will, tell us about yourself. You know,
dude. Everyone.
Hey,
where you from.
I was on like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes, fuck,
Yeah, and what do they know about you? They used to work at this really crazy place in Little Rock, and that's about it.
This really crazy place, office. I was born in St. Louis, and then I moved to Springdale when I was 9.
Okay,
and
like legit St. Louis or
in
like
the suburbs right outside St. Louis, about 15 minutes outside.
Missouri or Illinois?
Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in Baldwin.
Okay.
It's literally just neighborhoods.
My mom grew up in Belleville,
Okay.
in Illinois.
Yep.
So that's why I asked.
Yep. Then I moved to Springdale when I was 9. Went to Central Junior High, Harbor High School. I've known Chad since we were in the 4th grade. I've known Evan since like 8th grade.
Not
10th grade? Was it 10th grade? Okay.
Well, honestly, I didn't really
Whale.
talk to you until I graduated. When
Yeah.
I was dating her.
Somebody.
And I was the link
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
When I was
I link
dating
everybody.
someone, I was friends with Chad, and then pretty much I got introduced to everyone. I graduated 2 years before everyone, and pretty much introduced me to everyone. But I got something here for you. So
Okay.
no, I don't really, not anything special. But this is like the whole Braille kind of thing. The coworker of mine, the one that came from Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
He like I just remembered this. This is like a 6-month-old story, and we were talking about the election coming out. This was before the candidates for the Democrats were decided.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, man, the Iowa caucus is coming up." He was like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Did you say caucus?" I was like, "Dude, your Bryant's showing right now."
Yeah. Being from Bryant, Arkansas. Who we know somebody else from Bryant, Arkansas, don't we?
My old roommate Adam was from Bryan. I don't know if you ever met him.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, but that's like a tiny town, right? With nobody.
I don't
in
know.
it.
It's actually
No, it's
apparently
pretty
big.
It's pretty big.
Is it?
Yeah. It's literally you kind of accidentally get into it after leaving Little Rock.
Yeah.
Like it just like it slowly gets smaller until you're in like the boondocks. And Bryant is the first city right outside Little Rock.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
He worked at the Ashley Furniture there, which is like one of the top 5 Ashley Furniture stores in the nation. So
Really?
it's a big. I mean, what I'm getting at is there would be a big. Wouldn't be the most popular in the nation if it wasn't a pretty big city.
This is probably a completely random question that you wouldn't know, but how many Ashley furniture stores are there? Are there a lot?
Of Ashley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like of the actual stores?
Ashley's the biggest furniture, I know, distributor and manufacturer in the world.
Oh.
So, I mean, I bet they have at least 1,000 stores in the U.S.
Dang.
At least.
When I was at Office Depot, we were constantly measured to the Bryant Office Depot. And like everybody who was good at our store, they just sent to the Bryant one for whatever reason. I was like, they have all the good ones. They have all the good people.
They need the
That's
reinforcements
like-
up there.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like when we worked at Jimmy John's. Any good person, dude, they'd want to groom into a manager, and then the managers, dude, management at Jimmy John's sucked. Which me
It
and
was a
Chad never
different
did
breed.
it. They tried to get you so minimum you had to work 50 hours minimum as a manager, and you got like so minimum wage at the time was $7.25 here, and I think they got like $9 an hour, and I remember
Right.
I don't know if I say names or not of this person. You know who I'm talking about, the skinny manager.
Well, now you can.
Well, there were so many of them. The turnover rate was so ridiculous. So
I know what you're talking
but he
about.
knows what I'm talking about. I feel bad. He told me like how much he made in a check one time. Like he and I were kind of like in a semi-serious argument, and he was like, he said something about how he made. I was like, I make that with tips, dude. He got
Ooh.
so mad.
Oh.
They probably get like perks, but only like once a year.
Yeah, they get a free sandwich every shift.
Yeah, great.
There you go.
That's
the
their
payout.
biggest perk.
An extra $7, thanks.
That is
So-
quite literally their biggest perk.
I worked at UPS for like 3 years, and I worked in the warehouse early shift, like 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it was union for everybody, like all the hourly employees. So everybody in the warehouse and then all the drivers, they were union. Everybody in the warehouse was like part time, so I was only getting like 30 hours a week or whatever. It was decent pay, but you got full benefits and vacation part time because of the union. But it came down to where like I had been there 3 years, and there were a few different directions I could go. Like I could apply to be a manager, and that the management is not salary.
Yeah.
Or I could go train to be a driver. I ended up quitting instead. But,
That's where the story's really going.
I did apply to do the management training. But what also was going on is like there was a union steward there, and with the union, the management, since they aren't union, they're not supposed to do any of the work that is designated for the hourly employees. So like in the morning, you've got all the conveyor belts and they're loading the trucks for deliveries. There was one time, and I guess I was just having a bad week, and there were a few managers that were just being jerks. And so I saw one manager loading 3 trucks. And so he was actually doing the work that somebody, and I wasn't doing anything at the time. I was a hazmat responder, so I kind of floated whenever there weren't any spills or anything. And so what you can do is when you see somebody, a manager working, you can report it to the union steward. And the way they would do it is that like you would report it to him, and because he had been there like 30 years, so it like your seniority determines your pay. And what happens is if it goes to like basically a court hearing, and if they determine that there was no reason for this manager to be working, that somebody else, a union employee should be working, that they pay whoever reported it their double their hourly rate for the amount of time that the manager is working. Okay. So I reported it to the union steward, but the union steward reported it as like he
reported it?
Like he reported it, because then what he would do is he would split the pay with whoever reported it.
It's fishy, dude.
I think it is really
So
fishy.
fishy.
That one didn't really I don't think it ever panned out because they proved that they were shorthanded that morning, so he had to load, which whatever. But the big thing was like I had just applied to be a manager, and then I reported a manager for working, and the shift boss came over. He's like, "Is this you? Like, did you report a manager?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Didn't you just apply to become a manager?" I was like, "Yeah."
So? What's your
Like,
point?
I'm not a manager yet, so
Are y'all like on a team?
yeah.
Oh, like you can't
Literally,
managers
yes.
stick together?
They play
Literally,
softball
yes.
on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
No, dude, that it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Union steward. Sounds
Yeah.
like we're in Skyrim or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're in Russia.
I mean,
I mean, they might be getting rid of TikTok or something, right? It's kind of a Big Brother move.
I
isn't it?
heard Microsoft's looking at buying it now
Yeah, I saw
in the
that.
U.S. So
I seen that.
you seen it?
I synced it, yeah. But no, dude, Jimmy John's was probably the worst. Like at everything. They asked, I think, should they ever ask you if you want to be a manager?
I think 1 or 2 times. I think
Yeah,
Jesse
they asked me a
mentioned
couple
something to me.
I was like, absolutely not.
Oh, I said
What's
his name, my
the
bad.
deepest,
Yowzers.
darkest Jimmy John's secret?
Ooh, I got it. I know it.
What you got?
So, one day, I accidentally said a name a second ago. Sorry, we'll forget about it. You didn't hear anything.
I'll be able to take care of it.
Well, one guy who sold drugs there got paid
You can
with...
say Slim Shady, right?
Yeah, I'll call him Slim. Yeah,
Shady.
that's
I know
not his
who
real
Slim
name.
Shady
yeah,
is.
we called him Slim because he looked like Slim Shady.
Like Eminem, yeah.
So, Slim got paid. One of his guys got paid a fake $100 bill, and so Slim put the fake $100 into the cash register and took money out.
dude.
And me being like a good Samaritan and like going like, because I know he did it, I don't know. I believe, you get what you give. If you're an asshole, things are going to happen to you. So I reported it to the manager, whom I think very much so was in on it.
Yeah.
Because he did nothing about
That's
it.
exactly what I was going to
And-
say, yeah. He did nothing, dude.
man.
Absolutely nothing. I think they were all in hoots together, dude. Yeah,
They were in
in
cahoots.
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 Yeah, dude, no. I'm telling you, Jimmy John's, at the time at least, I feel like I go in there now, and it's not better. No, I'm not going to say that. It draws in, like, the worst, like, employees. Like, people will come apply to be a delivery driver and can't drive. Like, what is that, dude?
I've never seen a Jimmy John's driver with a car that I thought might be worth more than $1,000.
Yeah, I felt out of place, dude. So, like, which, Chad's credit, he was driving Lil Blue, so.
Facts.
I was driving my Jaguar and then my brand new Hyundai Elantra.
Time out. He says his Jaguar like it was amazing. It was like an old piece of garbage.
It was not that bad.
Jaguar X-Type.
It was pretty good.
What happened to us on the
I
way to
don't
Dallas?
know.
Xterra.
No, so it always had this like engine, something wrong with the engine I could never get figured out. I could never have anyone figured out. If that would have been okay and I could have fixed it, it would have been an awesome vehicle.
Also, weird thing, where was the CD player in that?
In the trunk.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh,
right?
I remember that.
There were a lot of vehicles there for a little bit that had a CD.
Yeah, and that's weird.
Was it like a 6-disc?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could alter
you
and
go.
change it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah,
Good
I
for
felt out
road
of place,
trips.
dude, because when that crapped out, I went and bought a brand new. It was granted it wasn't anything special, it was an Elantra.
Elaine.
Yeah, but it was definitely by far the nicest vehicle on the delivery driver's team, and it's definitely
Hey,
like an entry.
It was
vehicle.
not better than Low Blue. Okay, Low Blue
Blue
had heart.
had character.
It was like the little engine that could. Okay, one day I'm driving and it's pouring piss rain outside.
No
and the
wipers.
windshield wipers are working, and then they're not. She made it.
Yeah, just
No,
stopped.
yeah, that's how it went.
Fun fact, you died in that car wreck.
I was like, "What car wreck?" And then I
It's all
was like,
just
"Oh,
been a dream.
Yowzers, this got to a weird place."
Remember that time when we were at T-shirt Explosion and that guy came in and was like, "Who's driving the Xterra?"
Oh yes.
And nobody said
No one,
anything.
I didn't say anything. I was like,
And were you like, "You mean X-Type?" He's like, "Whatever."
yeah. I was like, there's a huge difference.
Two completely
Says it in
different
plain
vehicles.
English on the back.
He said it like 5 times, dude. It was, I remember 5 times. He's like, "Who's driving the Xterra?" And like, of course I didn't say anything. And then finally, no one was saying anything. I was like, "Dude, do you mean an X-Type?" He was like, "I don't know. It's like a blue car." I was like, "Dude, that's my car." I was like, "It's an X-Type." So I went and moved it because someone was trying to get out.
Also, I didn't know the name of that place. What was it called?
T-shirt Explosion.
T-shirt Explosion.
Yeah.
So, I was in East for my senior year. I don't want it to be known that I did not do a single thing in that entire class.
Yeah.
Did you pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year I was
do you-
in East, I did less
What do
every
you-
quarter.
What do you do in East?
I don't know.
So I did.
I thought y'all did a lot of. I thought
Yeah.
y'all did a lot of video production stuff.
We did.
I didn't.
We did a texting and driving documentary, and then we got a grant from State Farm that was like $5,000, and so we put on a huge event at the school. And then the next year, since our event did so well, they gave us 10 grand. And then that event they did with that 10 grand did so well, they took them to DC and gave them another 10 grand. But I was so sick of hearing the phrase texting and driving, I didn't want anything to do with it. So
Yeah.
there was like this whole legacy of this project. Me and Daniel George, did you know him?
Maybe.
Me and Daniel George and a guy named Wade and some of the other people in the class. We started that. And then by my senior year, when I quit the class, there were like 15 kids on that project. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
To me, you seem like a bunch of like woke kids.
I definitely like
trying to make like
It was
really like woke trailers. Are you texting and driving? And like it was like a whole deal.
they're like smashing TVs and stuff in a back. Yeah. No, it was basically a mental health facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I would agree with that.
We had a snow day one day, and the teacher of that class called me on our home phone just to talk about projects on a snow day.
Nice. So hey, what did you call this number?
so.
Where did you find
Lose
me?
this number.
Do you know where I live?
I definitely signed a thing saying I would never text and drive.
Oh well, how's that going?
That was our
He
project.
signed it, so he doesn't ever.
Obviously, you never did.
Yeah.
We made you do it to get a T-shirt. I remember that.
At work today. So furniture and like a lot of stuff is taking long to come in right now because everything's back ordered. And I'm gonna get a cancellation tomorrow for like $4,000 because this guy bought this set and he ended up not liking it as much. And the set he does like, there's a piece of it that's out of stock. And that reminded me when you said he signed it. I was talking to a coworker of mine today, or my boss, the guy, you know, he was like, he's like, well, tell him just wait on it. I was like, oh, thanks, dude. I was like,
I don't know why I didn't think of that.
I've never told him that. Like, I would tell him to say, man, that's going to take forever to come in and say, oh, it's okay, just wait on it. Like, oh, cool, good idea.
You should have been like, here's an idea. Why don't you tell them to wait on it and see how that goes?
Yeah, I should have. But yeah, how often would you say you text and drive? Honestly, the whole way here, I was probably on my phone. Like legit.
Allegedly, you were on your phone.
What was I doing? There was a reason I was on my phone.
Oh yeah, I was checking Instagram.
I'm like
I was watching a YouTube video.
The first half of it, I was on Instagram.
Dude, actually, there's a guy in a band that we know that he lived in Nashville. Well, he was living in Nashville, and he would drive all the way up to where the rest of his band is, which is in North Dakota. And he would set up his phone and like watch movies while he was driving.
That's so anus.
One time he missed his exit and he shot off and he ended up rolling his vehicle like 6 or 7 times.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with that.
It's totally safe until you're in a wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
Up until
safe
the
until
second
it's
that you're
not.
in a wreck.
Would you guys ever if you had a Tesla, would you be comfortable just watching a movie while it was driving?
Yes.
The lawsuit would be incredible if it crashed.
Oh yeah.
That
true.
money always in the back of my mind.
Yeah, you're like, is it worth my life? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Would this cripple me and would I be happy with 50 million? Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
no doubt.
I know
No doubt.
now, with the new auto, they had an upgrade or update or something. You have to have a hand on the steering wheel.
Yeah, you have to touch it every 5 seconds or
pressure
something.
sensors on the
Oh,
steering
that's
wheel.
lame.
So you can't just take a nap while you're driving across the
That's
country.
lame.
I mean, what
dude.
you could do is just
There was
or get a glove or something.
Some ballistics gel.
There was some videos that I saw where they were testing what would do it, but it's actual the same way that you can't open your phone with anything else other than your skin. If you put a glove on and you can't open your phone, it's the same type of
So we just need to
sensors
get
you need to
a
cut
lot
somebody
of
else's-
stylists and cut all the pieces off and then
lot
get
of
the pieces onto a glove
No,
and
no,
then
no.
Styli.
What you need to do is just cut somebody else's hand off, clamp it to
Yeah,
your
yeah,
that
steering
makes a
wheel.
lot more sense.
Easier.
Yeah, so at customer service lately, they've been writing a daily riddle on the back.
Like how you just moved on from that.
No. Wait
coming back, it's
Wait
coming
a
back.
second, okay? So they write a riddle, and the answer to this riddle, I'm doing some Jeopardy for you, kind of. The answer to this riddle was a glove, okay?
Okay.
But the riddle was what has 4 fingers, a thumb, and is not alive. And I was like, obviously, it's a dead person's hand.
Obviously.
They're like, no, it's a glove. I was like, well, my answer's not wrong.
It's not wrong. This is not right. And creepy.
You should have chose some better wording on that one. Is not alive. Say a dead person.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
But yeah, it was a glove. It was the answer.
Nice.
So we're all on board with cutting somebody's hand off, yeah?
Yes.
I mean,
honestly, that's kind of lame though. Is it really every 5 seconds or was it every minute or
It was pretty frequent last time I saw, but they might have changed it.
that's so lame. Honestly, not that, people want to sit back and take a nap, But literally, if you're gonna have to touch it every 5 seconds, what is the point of having autopilot?
Just leave one hand on it, put a movie on that screen, just watch that screen. It's going, you're going.
I wonder if
Inception.
I wonder if people still like freak out a little bit, like if it's self-driving and a deer hops in, the beep, it goes beep 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 or whatever like that. They're like, oh, like they're in the middle of watching this movie.
I wonder how the Tesla. I wonder how it can correct for that if it's like pretty good. Like for
there's videos online, dude. It'll slow down, it'll weave around.
I saw
I
one. I saw a Tesla. This truck lost a wheel on the other side of the concrete barrier, and it hopped the barrier, and the Tesla in the far left lane on the other side dodged the tire as it hopped over the barrier. Like it was in the air, and it dodged it.
Have you guys seen those videos of the Teslas like avoiding a crash before it happens?
Yeah.
Those are kind of scary.
I think that was exactly what he was.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Well, his was like it moved it saw it. It was
like
very
it
quick
was
and
gonna
fluid.
hit the car.
Yeah. But the ones I've seen is like you're going and then you hear the Tesla beep and like stop and then the crash happens.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
Yeah. It knows when things are converging.
Yeah. That's so weird.
So I was driving. I drove to the studio for a second to get some stuff for Charlie. I'm coming back, so I'm getting off of MLK onto the interstate, heading north.
Yeah.
So you have that kind of long side road before you get onto the on-ramp. I'm all the way in the left lane. I see this Jeep Cherokee driving, not 50 miles an hour, which is what the speed limit is, more like 40. And the turn thing's coming up, so I'm like, okay, they're probably going straight. And as the on-ramp is coming, like I'm like coming up right next to him now. Blinker comes on. I'm like, I'm not slowing down. I'm not doing it. Yeah, you waited too long. You're going too slow. No, you can keep going straight for all I care.
Yeah. Did he have to keep going straight?
No, he slowed down and got over. And then as we get on the interstate, he has the audacity. I go like 70 right there. It's 65 to go like 80 and get all the way over. Like, where was that kind of energy 30 seconds ago?
When did you bring that energy to the ramp?
So, coming home today, I think I found out that my work van has some really big blind spots that I wasn't aware of. Or I just wasn't paying attention. I was in the far right lane, and I was coming up on a semi-truck, but then there was another pickup truck in the middle lane. So, put my blinker on, and I just slid all the way over to the far left lane, and I heard rumble strips, like somebody driving over rumble strips, and then a horn, somebody just laying on their horn. I'm like, what's that? And then I look back and there's somebody like driving on the shoulder, like
just totally ran somebody off.
Yeah, I totally ran somebody off the road.
Nice.
And I'm like, where did that come from?
Just Mad Max out there for a minute.
See, I told my story a second ago and we're laughing about it or whatever like that, but like at the moment, like I get genuinely pissed off at this guy.
Yeah,
I'm screaming in my car.
Yeah, I've got
all
pretty
sorts
much
of
no tolerance for bad drivers. I don't know why.
Dude, yeah, it's like I'm cool, and the next second, freaking out on them because they're a freaking moron. Oh gosh, it just sends. I'm getting worked up. I need to find my safe space.
I can't talk about it right now.
Yeah, I need to.
I'm trying to find. There's this video of this road somewhere. It didn't say where, and it's like those rumble strips, but it's actually in the lane. But they made it to where when you run over it, it plays a song.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
what?
It's pretty cool.
There's one.
I'll see if I can find it.
There's one in California where the road has warped so much that the song's like flat now. It sounds like horror movie music, but it was actually just like an upbeat classical song. But since it like warps so much from the plates moving, it's like nothing now.
That's awesome.
They're
Here, Chad.
in what is it, Missouri, where the rumble strips aren't on the other side of the line.
They're on the freaking
on the
line.
line.
Yeah.
You know, no.
I'm gonna play with that line.
Credit to a YouTube user Soylent Jacob.
That'll do it. That'll avoid the copyright.
Man, this is going places.
Moron!
I don't think that did what you wanted.
I feel like that was better.
Wow, I can't believe they put that on the road.
That was a live reaction to that. So
I feel like that was better than if he got like Rickroll.
it was That was awesome. Well, I'll see if I can find a real one in a second.
I did order a mask just because it was funny that has the hammer and sickle on it.
You're gonna get beat up, dude.
I hope
This
so.
is not the part of the country.
Where we can get away with this.
Did you see any of the pictures from the protest they did outside of Harrison by the KKK leader's house? They're just a bunch of rednecks in the roads with shotguns, like literally like rednecks watching these protesters with guns. It's a
Yeah,
cool,
that
cool
would
state.
not be a place I would protest.
It's a cool state we live in.
Yeah.
I mean, how many protesters were there?
It didn't look like that many. I mean, maybe
More
50.
outnumbering the men with guns.
Yeah, but
There's strength in numbers.
yeah,
Strength in numbers.
and there's
Some
more
of you may
rednecks,
die.
You just can't see
this
them.
is this is a risk I'm willing to take.
Well, I can't find it.
Cool.
Dang it.
Still on
Man,
there.
that's really cool, Evan. I love this rumble strip thing. You
Pulled
got
it up, Evan.
Come on, Evan. I believe in you.
I can't.
He
I
gave
don't
up.
I don't even know what to look up. I can't find it.
Rumble strip that plays music.
Yeah, it's exactly pretty much what I looked up.
Oh, I
Pretty
bet he
much.
didn't think of that.
What do you think I searched?
I don't know.
Musical Road?
Road makes sound.
So, basically, what I'm hearing is that's really good taxpayer money at work, right there.
If we're going to use it, I might as well use it for that.
Yeah. There's nothing more we can do for the city. Let's make some musical rumble
Make some
You're a
strips.
true
rumble strips.
libertarian, Chad.
I don't know. I discovered today that
Thank you.
What?
I don't know. The Diablo guy, like the goth guy. We'll have to show you that
I have
later.
no idea what
Notice
you're...
me, senpai. No, you don't know that?
Notice me, senpai.
Yeah.
Notice me.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh. He works at like an Arby's or something.
I think it was a
No, it's
skit.
a comedy bit.
That
It's,
was-
yeah.
it's all.
I know
That's
who you're
his
talking about. He said
job.
Arby's. Now I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know.
I don't know. He has a TikTok. That's I found him. He does
It's
all
really,
his videos like
it's
that.
all stuff about the crow.
Honestly, I liked it better when I thought that was a legit interview.
I know.
And then I found out it wasn't. I was so disappointed.
He's so
dude.
consistent, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, honestly, if he would have left that video there and never uploaded anything, I would have thought it was real. But he uploaded that Arby's video, which is just like the exact same
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, dang it, man.
I
It's
know.
What was the
obviously
first
fake.
video?
Being interviewed about the
Diablo
satanic,
3.
like, was it? No, it was a satanic statue going up.
Yeah.
And like they were all.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
See,
That wasn't the first one
The
I
only
saw.
video I've really seen of the guy is the Arby's one.
Oh, dude.
No.
There's one of him at E3, and there's one of a satanic symbol.
Which
thing.
apparently is the OG.
I think
I thought the
yeah,
OG
I
was
think
the statue
Yeah, I
one.
think the statue, the satanic statue was.
Oh,
the
so
OG.
the symbol and statue completely different.
No, the
Yes.
statue.
Oh, okay,
the statue.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's more on brand for him than E3.
Can I play that on the podcast?
No.
No.
Oh man, come on.
They're like a bunch of.
I mean, there's
GIFs
no way
on your
we're ever going
watch.
to be monetized right now. So
Yeah.
we need 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours in a 365-day period.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Cool.
Hey, I won't play it on a podcast.
It's long to get the
It's gonna be
funniness. You have to watch the whole
waste of
thing.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll show you after.
Thanks for wasting this 2 minutes that we're having right now.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
loves
This
hearing
is
about
2
that.
minutes I wish we all could have gotten back.
Link in the bio.
Man, I had a point a second ago.
you were pointing at me.
Anyways.
Yes. So I found out that Fayetteville, if your trash can is
Oh.
is overfilled by even like just a touch and the lid is a little up, they charge you more money.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, is that so stupid?
I think a lot of people at places do that, but you don't know it.
Don't they just pick it up with the truck anyway? Do people still get out and pick up your trash? They don't do that at
There's
my
a
place
Pick it up
either.
with a truck. Yeah, but that's what we were told. Well, and so whenever we set up our, because water and trash is combined here at this
Yeah.
place, and so whenever we set it up, they said, "Oh, according to our records, your address has a medium-sized trash can." And we get here, and it's a large-sized trash can. And I think we're paying for. I don't know. I think we're
Don't
paying
put
for
this
a
out on the air,
medium-
dude.
I know. I think
They're
we're
gonna
paying
come
for a
get you.
medium trash can, but we've got a large one. But yeah, they charge extra like per. I don't know if it's per
Like
bag or
inch?
per inches that it's open.
And it's like what are the trash guys out there with a freaking iPad going, "Oh,
They got a little
3110,
caliber
here we go.
thing to
Probably.
I have
Probably.
kind of a crazy story. So, I don't remember who was in charge of the trash in Springdale when we moved here, but I was like 11, so that would have been like 2007 or 2008. But like I took the trash out and I wouldn't tie it well enough, and so I'd tie it and I put it in there and then it would untie when I threw it in the trash can. And so we take it out to the curb. They leave a note because our curb isn't actually the curb. They want it out of the curb, like in the road, because in front of our house there's that extra little bit. So they leave a note on the trash can telling us to do that. So I do that. And then they leave a note on the trash can that says, it's buried in my brain. It's like written in the lining of my brain. All trash must be bagged and bags tied. And they would leave that every week. And I was like, I tie the bags. I tie
Every
them.
single time.
And I'm just like, I'm not diminishing this job, but you're garbage men. Like,
You're garbage, man.
pick up the trash. And it's like, if you
That is your job.
and if there's trash in the bottom, just leave it. Just leave it. So one day they come, and I guess there's an open trash bag, but it was closed enough that all the trash was in it because they took it, dumped it out in the street, and tipped our trash can over on top of it, so that all the trash was under the lid of the trash can on the street. So that we get home, our trash can's upside down, I lift it off, and all the trash
Falls out.
is in the road under it. I'm like, how is that better than what I was doing?
You should really. You should
And there's
really,
no option. There's no option.
You
There's
really
only
should
one
just got
trash
into
service.
like a pissing contest and just left it there the whole time.
I
And
would
say,
have, but I was 12.
You're 11.
Yeah,
You should have
I
written
was
a
a
note.
child.
Dear garbage man, piss off.
Say, try me.
Try me.
I'll call the city.
I'm buying you all that mess.
Your job is to pick up garbage.
I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
See how trash? Get it.
It's
Just
like
demean them like
the-
as much as you can. Hey, pick that up.
the 40 seconds it took them to write the note too. It's like what good was
They
it?
had it printed out. It was a printout.
Oh, it's a common issue.
Oh yeah, so they like. It's
like they were doing that to other people.
Who's doing what? And they just put the right
Yup.
warning on.
Your trash can's 1 inch over.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever had a warning on my trash can.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
haven't either.
But who knows? Maybe one of these weeks will be the time when the trash lid is a freaking quarter inch up from being closed.
We'll see
One
tomorrow.
of these days.
Gosh,
This
dude.
week. It's this week.
See you in court.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. That like. I was mad when you were telling me that. That's so
Not
stupid.
even his house.
Yeah.
He doesn't even
It's
pay for the
still
garbage.
dumb.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, whose ass do I need to shove my foot up on the Fayetteville Council to get the point across? I know that might have been a little messed up, but the point was still made.
I mean, I guess it was enough for me to understand. Also, time out, not time out.
Time in.
Our boy Will here is engaged, right?
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that.
and
I
to be
am.
honest, I didn't have the nerve to ask you,
Yeah.
but I straight up thought you and Grace weren't together anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... Like, I have no social media presence.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I know have no idea I'm even dating
Oh,
somebody.
you're still together. Oh.
Yeah. Like, there was a while back, I basically transitioned my Instagram completely into, like, my photography page.
Yeah.
I don't post anything personal on there. Like, I do
Yeah.
in the stories, but that's it. She hassles me all the time. She's like, you never put me on Instagram so nobody knows we're dating. And I'm like, they don't need to.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, but now it's kind of awkward.
Well, hey, in your defense, she didn't post anything about you either.
She posts more.
Yeah,
But-
one photo a year is more.
Yeah.
So I
Grace.
I hate all like bridal or marriage like hashtags. Like my sister Meredith, her husband's name is Ty. There was Mare and Ty the Knot. I was like, oh gosh, jump off a cliff. But your last name is Church, and she said,
Married in
take me
church.
to church.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, I hate all of these.
I know, but it's a girl thing, dude. Like, girls love that crap. Like when me and Ash first got
Yeah.
like engaged, she was like, "What's our hashtag gonna be or something?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "What are you?" I had never heard that. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What was it?
last
I was
thing I would
keeping
think
up with the
We-
Carltons.
What
Not even clever.
What can you do with Carlton?
we didn't have a hashtag.
Yeah, homeschoolers.
that was before then. That was before the days of like.
That was in the Triassic period.
What year did you get married in?
2012.
Oh,
Was there like
we
a,
started high school that year, bro.
you like shuddered? You were like, oh.
You started.
I was
you
just
were
thinking about that.
14?
I know. Whenever you said you were 11,
We were
in 2008, he like made a face
Yeah,
about how young. I was like, "Save it, dude."
I was
yeah.
11 in 2001.
Jeez. Sons of Anarchy. Gosh.
Yeah,
That's a
for the
shame.
record,
I'm old.
Charlie is very old.
I'm old.
Much older than the rest of us. What are you, almost 40?
46. You know, you're about 30,
You get
right?
your lids done?
I'll be 30.
30 the day after I turn 24.
Yeah.
December 2nd.
6th.
6th.
Oh, that's fun.
He's the 5th. Sorry.
It's gone, dude.
We're
Moment
having a
passed.
kegger, and you guys are invited
A Kager.
all weekend.
What a Keeger.
Yeah, the whole weekend. We have the whole weekend blocked off to get zero percent of anything accomplished. Basically, it's gonna be us and
It's-
nothing.
We've taken time off to not do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna wake up that day of the weekend, open up our schedule, nothing. Check.
I still remember the
What is
last
it? It's the
birthday we
5th
had at your
and
house.
it'll be the 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Was
We
that
had a
Saturday
few
and Sunday?
Man. It was
Yeah.
just us playing video
The
games.
stars have
till 6 in the
aligned.
morning.
Yes.
We had 10th grade and 11th grade birthdays at your house.
This is right.
And then I remember that one time we all spent the night at your house in the summer.
When's the last time we did something for someone's birthday?
Which time? There were a lot of those.
There was like one main time when there was like a huge meltdown. Somebody whose name starts with J, and they went to sleep outside, and we threw soda cans at them.
Onathan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember them being soda cans. I remember I feel like throwing 2 liters down
How about the
from
time-
the top story.
how about the
and
time-
watching them explode on the ground and shoot up?
And he would wake up, but he'd be like, and go back to sleep.
How about the time, I don't know what event it was, I just like bring this up every now and then, but the time you made out with
Even I'm having trouble putting that one together.
You know.
Speaking of this person, you'll click to
There's
once
a song. There was a soundtrack.
Yeah, there was a whole album, brother.
Do you remember that time that I freaking
Yes, I was telling Lauren about that like a week ago. I know exactly where you're going with
Snapchat
this.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah, this hasn't been told on I don't think the podcast yet. So
Oh, dude, this is a cringy one. Strap in, brother.
it's so great, I promise.
Go.
All right,
I don't want
so
my face on this.
I really hope I haven't told you guys this because it's a
Do I
great
need
story.
another beer for
I don't think I have.
Probably. I'm
So-
good.
So, me and Chad will always, we'll have our monthly dose of her.
Talk.
And
That's what we do.
We'll just, send each other a screenshot or something of something stupid that she posts, really white trash, okay? Because it's often.
Your ex.
No.
No.
The same person that he made out with.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the same person. So she, she'll post something really trashy or just white trash kind of on Facebook or something, and I'll send it to Chad. Or he'll
I already
see it
know
and
where this
send it
is
to me.
going.
So one time she posted a picture on Snapchat of her crying at her grandmother's grave or something. Took a picture of her crying.
Oh, no.
And I was literally in the middle of helping a customer at work, so I was like, man, I gotta talk to Chad about this. So swipe up, and I was like, how did she take this picture? I said, did she literally start crying and just say, hey, take a picture of me crying at my grandmother's grave?
Oh no.
I sent it to her.
I've got it right here. This is the exact conversation. I have it pulled up, people. He said, who takes a picture for this stuff? Does she set a timer on the camera? Does she have someone take it? Either way is cringy. Meant to send to me. Sent directly to her.
And then all I remember is I'm sitting at work and I see typing. I was like, oh.
You have to bleep out that name, brother.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no.
And I have a screenshot from him screenshotting that whole conversation with like her little emoji there. Like she knew you just screenshotted it.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
something.
care. I immediately went and blocked her.
What did she say?
She said, I'm sorry that me visiting my dead grandfather is cringy to you, but next time keep your mouth shut. And just for the record, I was crying when my sister took that picture. And
She totally shut you down,
And
bro.
Evan sent that picture to me. And like I didn't save what he said, but I feel like it was something like, yo.
Oh my god, dude, it was great, dude.
Have you ever screenshotted an awkward conversation with someone and then accidentally sent it to them?
No.
I did that.
Chad, I didn't even tell you, dude. So I didn't block her right away. I never told you my last response to her.
Oh, there was more to that?
I sent one final thing back to her. She sent all that. I said, my bad, Lamau.
Everybody.
That was awesome. I've never done anything like that. I'm usually
LOL,
so
my B.
careful. I'm usually so careful about like checking that stuff. But literally, I was helping a customer and I saw it, and then I was about to have to get right back to work. So I just wanted to chat about it real quick before I forgot.
That's
what I
you should have
get.
been like, sorry, I left my phone open in my pocket.
It's like autocorrect.
It's like my legs typing. I don't know.
Oh man. Oh.
I sent you a picture of my
But see,
penis.
no, that
Those are
reminds
fun.
me. You talking about my ex? Oh man, I don't even want to talk about these stories.
Don't talk about them.
No,
You're married.
no, I know.
Don't talk about
So-
them.
The whole camping story.
So I wanna-
at our camping trip that I told y'all. Nothing. We'll talk about it later.
It's nothing. It's
I don't
nothing.
know anything about that. So you said you screenshotted something and sent it to the same person you screenshotted it of?
Okay, so this was like this was sitcom levels of bad. This was like multiple layers of bad. So I was like, this was this is gonna be obvious if anybody listening hung out with us in high school, but it's like the first girl I was literally ever interested in high school. Like the first girl who gave me her number without me asking.
Was this the one you dated for a little bit?
It's never happened.
I'm not even going to disclose any of that information.
Just move past that.
We're not going to bring up old wounds.
Is it the one?
Just move past it. We have a
gotta
story.
know who
Oh,
he's
no.
talking about.
No.
Okay,
no,
gotcha.
No. And so like we were texting, and I said something like just baseline flirty. And then I screenshotted it, and I sent it to somebody else, and I was like, because they hadn't said anything in a while. And so I was like, was this weird? Like, did I like freak this person out? I sent it right to them. And I literally says, was that weird under it? And then, and I don't get a text back for the rest of the school day. Like this whole school day, I'm literally sweating buckets. Like I'm so
Did you
nervous.
realize what you did?
Yes,
Oh,
immediately.
okay.
And I tried to turn my phone off so it wouldn't send, but then it just sent over text. It sent over SMS when I turned my phone off. And then, so get this, I see her at the end of the day, and she's like, "Hey, what's up?"
You should be like, was that weird?
And she immediately was like, "Sorry, I haven't texted you back. I lost my phone." I was like,
Find the phone.
and I knew who had the phone. I knew who had it.
Oh, dude, great, dude. Did you get it done? Did you get the deed
No,
done?
I couldn't get to them in time. It was completely out of my hands, and they texted me back later. They were like, "No, that wasn't weird." I was like,
See, I think the story would have been so much better if you took the phone. They're like, I lost my phone. Man, that's weird.
"That's
You're
that's
just shoving it deeper in your pocket.
There's one time.
shattered in my hands."
This is not near on the level as funny as yours guys is, but
Couple S's in that one.
yours guys is. Anyway, I was dating this girl at the time. Y'all would know, senior year. She was an oboe player. You know who I'm talking
Yes.
about? Blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah. So
No.
yeah, it's all right.
It's not that relevant.
You wouldn't
So
ever.
her and I shared. If you remember at Harbor, there was like A and double A lunch, and then B and double. B.
Yeah.
That's the worst system.
So
in the
like,
world.
Can I
I had-
pause? I always thought it was so weird that you guys were dating. I was just like, that's just a weird pair right there.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't last long.
But I didn't know you that well either, so.
Oh yeah. I didn't last long. It was 3
Does
months.
it make sense now?
No.
Okay.
It makes less sense. No.
Yeah,
knowing
she was
where
like
you ended up.
valedictorian. I was definitely not anywhere near that. Anyway, so one time,
Got
but see,
you.
this is her. She did this. She was the valedictorian. This is something she did. So I had A lunch. She had double A. So A left halfway through double A. So
That's right.
yeah. So I went and I left my phone on the table. Okay. So I get to class and the bell's about to ring. I was like, hey, I left my phone in the cafeteria. So can I just run back and go get it? I'll be after the bell before I get back, but can I just go grab it because I don't want someone to take it? And he's like, yeah. So I went over there, and then I see her. She's like trying to do something to my phone. She's like, my phone's over there. I was like, and she like put it down when she saw me, and I just didn't like say anything about it. I was like, hey, left my phone, and so I was really in a hurry to get back to class. And then I opened my phone, and I see all these texts like, hey, you left your phone here. Hey, your phone's here. You left your phone here. And I was like, was this real? And she was like, yes. She was like, I was trying to delete those texts before you came back. Yeah. So not quite on the same level as,
Nice.
still funny though. What's the cringiest thing you've done?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Cringiest
just
thing? Where do I
remembering it
start?
Like legit, like something you think about and it physically hurts you.
Really, the incident we referred to a couple of minutes ago is up there.
That's if I had to answer for you, like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like, what is Chad's cringiest moment?
Is that show still on?
Let's change. Hold on.
No.
Either that's
Also,
your answer.
Rip Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that one
On
was
Moment of
like
Silence.
a week ago. Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Moment of silence. All right. So,
Hold on. I was saying something real quick. So, is that your most cringiest moment or is that your lowest moment?
Or the one
Cringiest.
you regret the most?
Okay. What's your lowest moment? Mine is the bull necklace.
Bull necklace?
Bull nose ring girl.
Hey, that was your lowest.
It
I
was.
can confirm that was
It
your lowest.
absolutely was. It was after a long-term relationship broken up. Yeah, I'll have to show you. Ooh, man. Do you know who I'm talking about, Chad?
yeah, but you were just like, I have to show you. I have to show you.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I have to show you.
You said a moment of silence and made me think of this real quick. So y'all remember in school when they made us do a moment of silence?
Yep.
That was weird, right? What was that for again?
It was
9/11?
prayer time, but they couldn't say it was prayer time.
Wait, when?
Like you might have been
every
gone when we
day.
started doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would do the Pledge of Allegiance and then moment of silence, and it was like prayer time,
How long was it?
like a minute maybe.
Well, silence?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then occasionally they'd forget.
You're
like,
homeschooled. Like, we did that every day for 30 minutes.
Occasionally
I had
they'd
a quiet time every day before I started school.
Yeah.
occasionally they'd forget. Like, and we'd get to like the second to last period, and they'd get on the intercom and do it, and they'd go, "We'd do the
I
Pledge of
remember
Allegiance," and whenever they do it, they go, "And let's take a moment of silence." All right, thank you.
Oh yeah, literally.
Like it was like a
that was-
moment.
That was
silence.
definitely after I left, for sure. I don't remember that at all.
Dear God, oh, it's over.
Thank you,
And,
Jesus.
and back to English.
So, I'm trying to think, like, cringiest moment?
Yeah.
So, this is the freshest one in my mind. It actually involves me and my wife.
Oh, great.
Before we were
Whoa, keep
married.
that.
My
keep
wife.
that.
No. So, I started going to her church
Thank
when
you.
we started dating, and for like I think this was for Mother's Day. They wanted like the kids to do stuff, and we got roped into like doing a skit for like her and I, like doing like an acting skit. It was where we were brother and sister.
Oh,
And
nice.
she was pregnant.
Oh.
It was very weird. It was like a 5-minute, like not that long. It was like
I thought you were going to say it was 5 out of 10. I
it
thought
was
you
a
was
5
gonna
or
say.
10-minute like skit, but it was weird.
I'll tell you something that
We
makes
were,
me
like,
cringe,
brother
dude.
and sister.
I have a whole plethora of things that make me cringe because I was private schooled for the first 3 years of my life, and so I didn't have social skills. So thankfully, I got in school early enough to kind of pick
Dude, I was in
those up.
private school till 7th grade.
Yeah.
You're telling me.
So you did great,
you're a
though.
weirdo.
You did great.
Yeah, facts.
But so like anyway, in 7th grade,
Sitting over here.
there was this
graduated
girl.
with my siblings.
But hey, you're fine. You turned out fine.
You're
I
like
think.
objectively the coolest
Yeah,
person
no.
here.
So
I was literally in the
whenever
middle of
people
telling
talk
something.
about homeschoolers, they refer to Charlie. They're like, "Look how he turned out. He's okay."
I'm
Yeah.
the 1%.
I was like, yeah, but I sit when I pee, so.
Isn't there a story about you going up to your urinal, pulling your pants all the way down?
Oh, I was like
We haven't
5.
talked about
Yeah.
that.
Have we talked about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we
No,
talked
so
about that.
anyway, one of the
Okay,
cringiest
back to-
things.
Annie.
Really? So there was like a cringy thing. There was this girl. Come on, y'all. Let me tell my story.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about that in a second, okay? There was this girl that I straight up just like harassed for like 2 years.
When?
In 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
Not realizing it, okay? So it was this girl, I had like a major crush on her. I moved to Springdale in 7th grade, okay? So it was my first year. And she made the mistake. I guess she recognized that I was like, pretty like, didn't have any friends. It was my first year at a new school. So she like came and sat with me at lunch and like started talking to me and just for a little bit. And you see, so that was my first encounter with her. That's when my crush developed, okay? So, basically from then on, I would like stalk this girl, more or less. Not like full on stalko mode, but stalko mode. And anyway, so here's a moment I had a chance to like redeem myself, and I just blew it, just whiffed it. So this is back when cell phones weren't really big yet, especially for younger kids. iPhone wasn't even out yet. So I had a phone book, and I looked up this girl's last name, and there was only like 2 in Springdale. So I was like,
It's 50-50 here.
probably this one right here. So I called, and I said, you could tell like a motherly lady answered, and I was like, hey, is so and so there? And like, yeah, just 1 second. So she gets off the phone. She's like, hello? I'm like, so here's the thing. A couple of days later at school, she's like kind of looking at me in science class, and I was just didn't know what to do. And she was like, so she must have had caller ID. She was like, what's your last name? And I was like, Carlton. And she was like, you could tell like something clicked in her head. And I was confused. I had no idea what she was doing. So I could have played it off like that and ended it, and it would have been totally fine. I could have played dumb, had no idea. And then a few minutes go by, clicks in my head. I was like, she must have seen my last name on the caller ID. And so then I go out of my way to be like, hey, I know what you're talking about. And then from then on, it just goes downhill. And I just start like harassing this girl for like 2 years. And that's my cringiest series of events. It was pretty bad, dude. Like, I was straight up just like message her
A
random
2-year
crap.
stalking relationship. Yeah, that's cringy.
Do we know who that person is?
I don't think so.
No.
No, it wasn't. No, I mean,
I have another cringy story, but did you want?
I want to hear. Yes, the Annie one.
Annie. I wasn't even there for this story.
I also was only involved by proxy, but basically we knew this guy, and we played League of Legends with him, and there was like the friend group was incredibly toxic, and everybody was the butt of every joke. Like, it just depending on the day,
Nothing has
you
changed.
were just the guy who got stomped on.
Yeah.
And that's how it is today
It's
in
how
this
it is.
room
It
right
how-
now.
yeah.
That's just the thing.
No, it's just
So
always you.
so this guy
It's always Chad.
this guy, we kept, I don't remember what led it to this point, but he did something that warranted ridicule.
Yeah.
And so they were just like, they kept making jokes about how this one character in the game's name is Annie. And so they kept fitting that into sentences. They're like, does anybody want to go to this spot? Will anybody buy me this, blah, blah, blah. And at his expense. For whatever reason, the joke was at his expense.
Yeah,
I don't remember the
I
details.
think he made a joke like it.
Yeah.
The first one, and they thought it was stupid, so
Yeah.
they just like started doing it a bunch.
Doing it.
So they were all in a TeamSpeak, which is like a huge Skype
Group
chat.
chat, yeah.
And he starts DMing one of the other people in there, and he says every time they make a joke, I look at the gun.
I've got a gun.
I've got a gun. Every time they make a joke and laugh at me, I look at the gun. And then he says, I know where they all live. While he's in the chat talking to everybody. And so our buddy David, he took screenshots of all of the messages and showed us all later. And then everybody in there, except me, just kept on being friends with him.
No.
Like, I saw those and I was like, and you guys talked to him like last night? They're like, yeah. I was like, when was that? Like a week ago. And he's gonna shoot you? Okay.
It's the equivalent of it's like, oh, we have to start being nice to this guy.
Yeah. It's like, you want to sit with us at lunch?
All right, so what's your story, Chad? What are you about to say?
I think that was it. I don't know.
Okay.
Now, you were going to say something else. You said, do you want to tell your Annie story first?
No, that's what I said to him.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so our first year in band, your last year in marching band,
Yeah.
you had the drum solo during the dance part. You remember that dance part?
Yeah.
Do you remember the
when
dance
you
part?
dropped the person? Is that what you're about to tell?
That's what I'm going to tell.
Yes.
So we had to do a dance routine, and this was my first year in high school, and
She was a senior.
She was a senior. I get partnered up with a senior girl on the flag. What is it called? Color guard.
color guard.
Flag
yeah.
line, color guard. I don't know.
And it was just like, I was like full anxiety, full panic mode. And we have to do this dance routine every day. We learn every part, but at the end, there's a huge move, and a bunch of people do different moves. But one of them was to go back to back and lock arms with them, and then bend at the waist and flip
them over you.
over your back onto their feet. The problem was, I was like 5'9", 5'10", maybe 135, 145. She was 6 feet tall, probably 180. And so not big, but bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so I had to basically pull the entire weight of this person on my back and pendulum forward enough for her to land, but not pile drive us into the ground. Guess if I pile drived us into the ground every time. To the point that she, to this day, has permanent knee damage.
Nice. They made you stay partners?
They made us not only stay partners, but do that routine for 3 weeks until the day of a show when they were like, just skip that part.
Oh my god!
And I was like,
didn't know
and
that.
she literally is walking around in a knee brace on crutches every day at school so that she's
Will.
rested up enough to do the routine. And literally, so that night after they were like, just switch it. Like, and Mr. Ford, of course, he called me out by name and embarrassed me in front of everybody. He's like, Will Church, why aren't you doing the routine right? And I'm like, can't do it. And I'm like, what am I going to say? She's too big?
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to
can't
say?
carry her.
And so he called me out, and that night it rains, and so the game's canceled, and we saw each other in the band room, and she literally started crying and like hugged me, and I was like, this is the worst situation I've ever been in. And then the next Tuesday's band practice, they were like, how about you guys do one of the other finishing moves? And we literally did it on the first try. Like, I spun this girl over my arm in the first try. They're like, yeah, just do that one. After giving this girl permanent knee damage.
That's between you and your wife, my man. You can talk about whatever you want.
Y'all are just assuming that you know what I'm about to talk about.
Okay,
go.
You dirty dogged her. Let's hear it.
Dirty dog in the sense that like I did her dirty. Like I like. I was very, very mean.
Up until this point, I literally thought he was kidding about this. I thought this was a bit up until this point.
What? Is this a bit? You're doing this bit?
I thought this was a joke.
I was
while your brain is melting.
I'll say this. I did very mean things to that girl. That's what I mean. Okay? So in the sense that...
Is she the girl from 7th grade?
Listen, dude, listen. Let me tell you something important.
The girl from 7th grade or the one we were just talking about?
The one we were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the one from 7th grade. So, this girl, man, she had a thing for me sophomore year, junior year, somewhere in there. Okay, so talked to her for a long time, totally led her on, dude, and just stopped talking to her. Okay, all right, great, whatever. She was heard about it for like a year. You know, she never stopped talking about it for a year. Well, what do our senior year, dude? Well, I start talking to her again, and then we hang out a little bit, and then one day I'm like, nah. I just stopped talking to her.
You are so bad.
I was such a douche in high school, man. I was such a douche. But yeah, dude, like, and that's something that I feel bad about to this day. Like, she was like, with the risk of sounding like really cocky, like she was like super into me, and like I was kind of into her, but like I wasn't enough to want to have a relationship. So it's like I started thinking that maybe we could have a relationship. But I was like, no, hard pass. Yeah, so twice I destroyed this girl's life twice. That's what I'm getting at.
Just wrecked everything.
Wrecked house, dude. Yeah.
All right.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, how could you? That's it.
All right. Well,
I think this is a good place.
This has been the Guys Ever Needed podcast.
How this works out. So,
Yeah.
I know last time, end of season 1, we talked about adding video, so we did that. And we also talked about upgrading our gear, but
We're almost there.
Yeah.
that didn't
Which, in
happen.
Chad's defense, he tried to get one from a lady that was selling one, and she just
She never responded. And then I put an offer on for another dude online, and he just never responded.
Microphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
the world is
Can't
against
find
me.
these anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the world is against me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has
so,
been since day one.
Hey, we're trying, guys. So.
What? I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just cut back and forth.
Yes. Okay.
All right, boys. See you next time.